Welcome back. Kevin's Mobile Repair, 2015 Dodge Dart, doing some heater hoses, upper and lower radiator hoses, all that kind of good mess, and a thermostat. Alright, so I took the battery out just to make sure there's no possibility of getting any kind of spark because of what I'm going to be doing. So R&R'd the battery. It says to remove the battery tray, but I didn't need to. Also says need to remove the vacuum pump. I didn't do that as well. I was able to get to everything without removing of those two items. So here are the new hoses. OEM on two of them and an aftermarket on the, what is this? This is the upper. So what typically happens is, like right here, they like to leak where the clamps like these go on. I don't like those so much, but what are you gonna do? Same thing with this one. They like to leak right at the joint connectors and stuff right there, and plus there. Plastic gets brittle, it gets corroded, it gets destroyed. So all right, so we got all this stuff removed. I'll show you what and how I did. Oh my god, why the F they got to do two different bolt sizes on one item? I've seen that on a couple of things on these vehicles. I don't know why. Engineers, come on. All right, so here's our thermostat. It sits right back there under the vacuum pump. So they have 2 8s and 2 10s. Yeah, and why? They're not like 2 10s at the top, 2 8s at the bottom. Oh hell no. We got 1 10 at the bottom and 1 8 at the 1 10 at the top. Like, come on, man, really? So anyways, these two here up in front are relatively easy to get to. The top one over there is easy. That one right there in the far back corner is the fun one. I'll show you. I made, and that's a 10. So I did 1/4 inch swivel, about a 3-inch extension, and my ratchet head so I could get my power tool on there. I was able to come back behind here underneath the hose, put it on there with my second hand, and use the power tool to get it off. That's really the only problem one, so to speak, because it's tucked up underneath that hose right there, and it not very conducive to get to. It's not a straight path from that hose to there, so that's why I used the swivel. I was able to get to that part up there. For the thermostat, you got one hose up here, which is going to be for yay, and then the other one is for this, for the heater hose. So those just pop off. Those have the standard European style connector, you know, the little, what do you want to call them? Damn, you know what I mean. Those things. Oh, I also did take out the PCM too, because it gives me plenty of room to lay inside there and get back to everything to where I need. So once those are disconnected, there's the new one going back in. Got to use a couple of worm gear clamps, because this had a really small non-tension style like this on here. So I had to use a worm gear clamp on that one, and same thing with the bigger ones back here. Now I did, since the old hoses had some constant tension clamps, I transferred them over to the new ones that didn't have any clamps on them, like this one right here. So I used just took one of the hoses off of the old lower hose, and I had plenty of constant tension clamps that I could put on for the new ones, like one there, one here for the upper hose, because it had one of these. Sometimes they get destroyed coming out. There is a trick to taking it off. So when these things are compressed in, should have shown it to you when it was off or when it was on there, but they go on like yay. So what you can do is this little tab right here, you can lift up on it with a screwdriver or a pick, and it will release the tension and pop it loose. But I don't like using them going back on because it's not a it's a one-time clamp, and that's it. It does not tighten up anymore. The constant tension clamps like Yay get tightened up as the hose breaks down and keeps the same tension on it. I don't know why they're not using those instead of these pieces of crap that they like to use. These. Stupid. Then again, not the engineer. Heater hoses in the back have the same connectors here. They are relatively easy to take off. You do want to be careful. There's a plastic O-ring in each one of them. So before you put the new ones on back here, make sure that you did remove the old one. Otherwise, the new one will not go back on, and you will be cussing, fighting, bitching, and all that. So how we got to those back in the back, I took off the throttle body. That gave me plenty of room to get back there and see everything and use my pick and pop those little locks loose. So there are two hoses. Got one right here and this one up here for the vacuum. I just took them off of the intake manifold side, so that way, like I said, I can still get back there and get to those two clips. T25s, 3 T25s for the throttle body and 110. Again, why? No specific purpose. This hose, and they're going like Yay, this one over here has a bracket. That bracket goes right here on this mount. So as you take the 10 out right there, and you can extract all the set of hoses, the heater hoses that way. One pops into the thermostat. The other one from the lower hose pops into right here. So just make sure that these are nice clean surfaces when you pop them back in, and they will just go snap. This one right here is a quick disconnect. See that? You'll need to make sure that you transfer over the clip. Transfer over the clip, so that way the new hose clips on. They did not get me that hose right there, so I'm going to put on a take that little clamp off there, and I'm going to put a constant tension clamp on there, so that way it doesn't have any further issues. That's the only hose that did not get me out of all this, because like you see, they like leaking all in those locations. About every single one of these hoses on here, see all that? Every single one of them had a problem. So that's why all these are getting replaced. Also did the radiator as well. Oh, the lower hose also goes up to the washer jug. So same thing, constant tension clamp up there. It just kind of snakes its way up through. This one had a compression clamp, so I put a constant tension on there just like this. So we're gonna go back together. There's not really too much to it. Once it's done, burp out your air bubble. I have a funnel which will take care of all that, but you guys probably don't, so just have to keep an eye on it. Oh, sorry, you do need to take off your upper air manifold in order to take the throttle body out. Same thing with the air filter housing. Air filter housing comes out so you can get to the bottom hose for the reservoir. That's about it. Disconnect what connectors you need to move harnesses out of the way. Nothing really special as far as that, but we're gonna start slamming this thing back together. Should be back up and running in about an hour and a half with that, and having to do the radiator as well. Any questions or comments, please feel free to let me know.